Connection is a leadership strategy. Today, we are going to be taking it a little bit deeper, where we're going to talk about you can't lead what you don't understand. This is the 30. Thank you for joining us. Let's get it started. Welcome to the 30. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Let's see. Last week we talked about connection. We talked about connection being a leadership strategy. Tonight we're gonna take it a little bit further. The 30 is certainly a space for meaningful discussion, conversation. It is designed to support your personal, professional, spiritual, and leadership growth. Thank you for joining us on this another episode of The 30. The 30 is a production of the Jackman Group, LLC. Do me a huge favor. Go ahead and like and share or repost and drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you in terms of how you're liking our episodes. This is part 2 of our series of what we're calling relational leadership. If you're watching from YouTube, certainly go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We would love that. So thank you once again for being here. I am your host, and tonight we are talking about you can't lead what you don't understand. On a previous episode, we said something important, and I hope that you watch our last week's or previous episode, and we said connection is a leadership strategy. What I didn't say was connection without understanding is surface level. Yes, connection may be a leadership strategy, but connection without fully understanding is certainly surface level. And surface level leadership doesn't sustain results. It gives you temporary, but there's no sustained long-term results. You cannot lead what you don't understand, folks. So on this episode, we'll explore a couple of things. We'll explore why understanding precedes influence. We'll talk about the cost of assumption in leadership. We'll explore how great leaders build clarity through the strategy of being curious. And then I'll talk about and give you practical ways to know your team at a deeper level. See, the most effective and impactful leaders don't just communicate. They seek to understand the people they are leading or the people they are serving. They seek to understand their team members' motivations, their demotivators. What pressures do they have in their lives? What are their strengths and what are some areas of opportunity? See, without understanding, influence weakens and performance suffers. So that's what we want to talk about, is why is it important for you to go deeper, not just connect, but go deeper and understand your team members or those that you are serving. See, folks, it's important to note that influence, we hear about leadership is about influence. But influence doesn't begin with direction. It begins with awareness. Do you know and do you understand those that you are leading? Do you understand what motivates each member of your team, each member that reports directly to you? Because I know some of you may have a large team that you are leading. So you may not be able to know each person on your team, but do you understand and do you have some knowledge of each person that reports directly to you? Do you understand what motivates them? Do you know what their stresses are? Better yet, do you know what puts them into conflict? What are their conflict triggers? Do you understand and know how to interpret their feedback? What makes them feel valued? What are their goals? What shuts them down? What is said or done that shuts them down? Do you have a clear understanding of your team members? And that's what we want to talk about. See, because too many leaders manage output without understanding drivers. I'll say that again. Too many leaders manage output without understanding drivers. See, as leaders, we often encounter or experience a number of things. We encounter or experience performance issues. Someone is not doing well. We encounter and see resistance from our team members. We may encounter some team members that are silent in meetings, that don't say much. And then with that, what do? I know from experience, from being leading teams or training and developing or coaching leaders, what happens is that when we come across these items, when these things, behavioral or performance, we often tend to diagnose these individuals as problem children, right? Problems are character or even behavioral problems. And what is our first instinct? Our first instinct is to weed them out from the team. It's to get rid of them because they're problems. But in essence, they're not. Some of them may be, right? But others may not. So here's the thing. Often, when we diagnose their problems, when we assume that it's a character or behavioral problem, it may not be. Sometimes it is, but often enough, it's not. What have we done? We refer to it as, our team, refer to them as understanding gaps. Simply, we don't understand those that we are serving and those that we are leading. We're making assumptions. We're diagnosing without understanding. And that's what we tend to do sometimes. Not all the time, but often. What about if you went to a doctor and a doctor said to you, so you went to complain or you had pain in your right arm and a doctor says, well, let's go ahead and focus on the left arm and let's have surgery. Well, you'll probably take the doctor to court, right? You probably think, well, what is wrong with that doctor? As leaders, we do the same thing, but not as from a medical standpoint. We try to diagnose without having an understanding of what's really taking place. In essence, we have we refer to them again as the understanding gaps. We don't have the right understanding. We don't know the team or team member. So could it be that we don't know them? Could it be that we haven't taken the time to really connect and to really understand what is taking place? Because we're so caught up in the production side of things. And we don't focus on the relationship side of things. So tonight we're going to be talking about, you can't lead what you don't understand. You see, when you don't understand the drivers or the motivators or the demotivators, we misread behaviors. We make assumptions. And that costs us. See, I like to say, right, that assumption, because when we make assumptions, and it's easy, we all do it. We make assumptions of someone, we make assumptions of something, we make assumptions of the situation. It's easy for us to make an assumption when we see those type of behaviors. It's easy for us to make assumptions when we see the person in our meetings quiet. We make assumptions, but we don't understand what is taking place. See, assumptions are one of the most expensive habits in leadership. I'll say that again. Assumptions are one of the most expensive habits in leadership. We profile and then make assumptions of the individual. See, assumptions are the saboteur of effective and impactful leadership. So when leaders assume, here's what we do. We assume intent. We assume effort. We assume buy-in or lack of buy-in. We assume understanding. But what happens is that assumption creates tension, whereas understanding reduces friction. I'll say that again. Assumption creates tension, whereas understanding reduces friction. So we have to focus on not making so many assumptions of individuals. It's about building the relationship. You can't lead what you don't understand, folks. So I'll say it again. We can't lead what we don't understand. It's easy. It's easy for us to make assumptions, misunderstanding the situation or the individual. See, when leaders don't understand their team members, they personalize performance, they personalize behavior. See, instead of asking what's happening beneath the surface, I love this example, and I see it, in sometimes in training. I see it sometimes posted where you have the ocean and the iceberg, right? We look at the top, the surface, but we never look at the bottom. We never look beneath the surface to understand what is taking place. We're not asking the right types of questions. So the leader tend to react to what's visible. And the result of that could be lack of trust. Trust, the person that once trusted you. Now we're seeing that trust being eroded. So if we want to really, truly become the leader that we are desired to be, or that we're called to be, if we truly want to build solid teams, if we want to understand the motives of individuals, if you want to find out the demotivators, the stressors, if you want to find out truly about the person, we have to understand it. Again, you can't lead what you don't understand. So how do we lead? See, impact leaders, what they do, replace assumption with curiosity. We have to become curious about the person. We have to have a conversation with the person. We have to connect with the person or persons. That's how we go from ordinary leadership to exceptional leadership. That's how we go from an ordinary leader to an impactful leader, is really understanding more about the person. So we have to ask questions. We have to be curious about the person So you may ask, well, what are some ways for me as a leader to decrease making assumptions and then increase or enhance curiosity? Well, here's how. I'm going to give you some practical questions that you can ask to remove the assumption part and replace curiosity. Get ready. You may want to write this down, or you may want to go back and replay this episode so you have a clear understanding of how to build curiosity from your team members. Are you ready? Here we go. Number one, we have to really ask the types of questions that elicit or solicit answers. We call them what? Open-ended questions, not closed-ended, open-ended. That gets the person talking. Questions like, help me to understand your perspective. Another one, what's important to you about this? It's about building the relationship with the person. It's about understanding them. You heard me say in the previous episode, leadership is not about you. I'm talking about impactful leadership. It's not about you. It's about those that you are entrusted to serve and lead. So the question, what's important to you about this, is relevant. It's showing the person that you're concerned about them and not about you. It's about really understanding where they're coming from. What do you need to succeed here? What am I missing? Folks, curiosity strengthens clarity, and clarity builds confidence. I'll say that again. Clarity builds confidence. Curiosity builds clarity, which builds confidence. So that's something that you need to focus on, something that you need to really understand. So let's go further. Here's another question. Here's another thought. Understanding does not mean you're lowering your standards. Understanding simply means that you are concerned about the person. So it doesn't mean that you are lowering your standard. It means that you're applying standards wisely. You are leading with understanding. It's not about you. It's about those that you serve and those that you lead. So here's the thing. This is exactly what we do. So at the Jackman Group, this is exactly what we do, right? It's about development, and it's about growth. And if you understand growth, if you plant a seed, if you put a seed in the ground, it's not going to grow without nurturing. It's not going to grow to a full maturity. It's not going to grow the way you desire it to be. You have to nurture it. You have to develop it, right? You have to put some things in it. You have to water it. You have to nurture continuously. See, you don't grow accidentally. You don't become an impactful leader, an exceptional leader, accidentally. There has to be some growth and development involved. You grow into something. It's a process, folks. It's a journey that we take from where we are to where we desire to be, where we are called to be. It's a journey from A to Z. So when we talk about impact leaders from the Jackman Group, impact leaders, whether it's leadership training or coaching, we spend time with leaders, and we talk to leaders about spending time with their teams or with their leaders, understanding their motives. We talk with them about recognizing communication styles. We talk to them about anticipating reactions, building strong relational intelligence. So these are some of the things that we teach and we talk about, because leadership is not just about execution. It's about people. I'll say that again. Leadership is not just about execution. It's about people. So if you want to have if you want to be successful with leadership, you have to care about those that are in your sphere, those that you are privileged to lead. So here's something for you. Here's something that I want you to reflect on. And this is a question. You can write it down or you can go back and replay it. Who are you leading right now that you don't fully understand? So if you're leading a team, whether it's a small team or a large team, if you are leading that team, think about it, right? Who are you leading now that you don't fully understand? So go around, look at your team, and ask yourself, do I fully understand them? Do I know what their motivation is? Do I know what their motives are? Do I know what their demotivators are? Do I know what drives them? Do I know their strengths and areas of opportunity? Do I know their goals? Do I fully understand them? It could be a team member. It could be a partner. It could be a colleague. It could be a spouse. It could be a client. Do I really understand them? Folks, if this conversation resonates with you, if you realize that there are gaps in your connection with others, in clarity or understanding within your team, if you realize that there are gaps within your team, that's exactly the kind of work we help organizations do. We help them strengthen their teams. We help them strengthen themselves. We help them strengthen the overall organization. See, at the Jackman Group, we partner with leaders and teams to help deepen connection, build real understanding, and create cultures where people perform at their best, not individually, but together. Because organizations don't improve by accidents. They improve through intentional development. Intentional development. So, folks, as we close, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being part of the 30. And if this added value to you, I would ask you to share it, repost it, add a comment, but most of all, send us a note. info@jackmangroupllc.com. info@jackmangroupllc.com. We would love the privilege of partnering with you and your team to help your organization go from where you are or from where they are to where you desire to be. Individually, we would love to partner with you through our Impact Leaders training or coaching to take you to the next level, to help enhance your leadership skills and your leadership ability. So you can drop a question in the chat, or you can simply send us an email. That is info@jackmangroupllc.com. So next week on our next episode, as we continue this series of relational leadership, we'll take the next topic. So stay tuned. Make sure that you are here for part 3 of this series. Until then, may God bless you and your family. And I certainly thank you for being a part of the 30. See you.